Good evening, everybody. We have the Heavy Hockey Podcast, episode 7. Is that right, Ryan? 7?
Yeah, right. You got it.
Number 7, the Paul Coffey edition, apparently, just not the Penguins version. Coming at you with a special edition tonight for the Olympic preview show. Tuesday instead of Wednesday, as we all have normal lives and didn't really want to podcast on New Year's Eve, to be quite honest. So sorry about that. You're getting us a day early. We are hopefully live on EST, your clear
Hopefully.
choice for Edmonton sports. And if so, then thank you for tuning in across all of the video and audio channels, edmontonsportstalk.com, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts. Most importantly, on YouTube, where we have our version of the nasty chat. I don't know, maybe it's the heavy chat. Things do get a little heavy in there. That's just mostly when we ban Bob, but that's another story. He is banned again tonight. Rightfully so. And as I look around on the screen in front of me, I got most of the regular band characters, I'd say, as far as heavy hockey goes. One new face to the Heavy Hockey Podcast, and he is the OG, the Godfather. I use father rightfully so because he looks like he's got a little more gray in his hair than I remember. Michael at Oilers Live.
You bet.
Good to have you on the Heavy Hockey Podcast on the network that you invented. Congratulations. You've made it.
Finally. That's good.
How you doing?
Me, I'm doing great.
Good to have you
My
back.
first
on the screen
podcast in my
again.
50s.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Congratulations. Happy belated birthday.
Oh, thanks.
Although I left you one on time as well.
Yeah.
And our executive producer extraordinaire, hitting the X's and O's there, Ryan Lotsberg. Lots Ryan. How you doing, bud?
Good. And you?
Pretty good. Fun to be here with you. And last and least, Patrick at Oilers Fanatic YT. We love you. What's the rundown? Quickly.
Well, we got some stuff to talk about. Mr. Andrew Mangiapane, a healthy scratch last game. Lots of speculation going around there, so we can get into that. The boys have been turning around, winning hockey lately. Connor Ingram's been looking pretty good. Calvin Pickard stood on his head last game, 41 saves. So goaltending hasn't been the topic of discussion as it was earlier this season, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Putting Ryan on the spot, but he's fabulous. You got Patrick's music. We might as well get right into it.
Yeah, we can do it that way. Yeah. Let's see here.
He's not expecting this, but he's a professional. He'll wing it.
Absolutely. Well, the big reveal, I guess, came from Tom Gazzola, Sean Bell over on EST yesterday. They put out a post, I think it was just before the game started or in the first period, hearing that Andrew Mangiapane's agent has been given permission by the Oilers to seek a trade. Multiple insiders, Elliot Friedman, right on down, starting in the morning, I believe it was, talking about it on the 32 Thoughts podcast. So it looks like Andrew Mangiapane is not long for oil country here. Obviously, the big thing is trying to find a fit. TSN's Ryan Rishaug did point out last night that the healthy scratch for Andrew Mangiapane wasn't trade-related. That was Chris Knobloch trying to reset underachieving players, but I think you kind of know there's really no resetting Andrew Mangiapane with the Edmonton Oilers right now. That's something to be saved for other guys. He's going to be out of here pretty soon, I think. The update that Tom Gazzola put out there a little later, or I believe earlier on Hello Hockey, if that was on today, or no, that was
Saturday,
sorry. Yeah. I'm all mixed up on my days here with being on vacation. Which day of the week it is anymore.
You mean it's not Saturday right now?
It's felt like Saturday for a few days here. But yeah, basically Stan Bowman's on it, and I don't imagine this one is going to take long here. So We've put out a few guesses in the chat here where Andrew Mangiapane ultimately ends up. We know his former GM, Brad Treliving, had interest in him with the Toronto Maple Leafs going back to the summertime. They were one of the final teams that were in on signing Andrew Mangiapane. They do have a player there that's been struggling. He was a player that the Edmonton Oilers were also interested in Matias Michelli. The salary is very close on those two guys, so I could see possibly a one-for-one swap happening there. There's been some wishful thinking, maybe Jake DeBrusk with the Vancouver Canucks, but I have trouble seeing how that one would all work. That's but an extra $2 million you got to figure out there. Sure, there's ways to do it, but probably unlikely. And Jake DeBrusk did get back into the Canucks lineup tonight, so he was out as a healthy scratch for one game, but is already back in. So that one's probably not happening there. So my guess right now, Toronto, Matias Michelli as a possible return there. What do you guys think as possible guesses as to where Andrew Mangiapane ends up?
Michael?
I'm 100% on the I'm 100% on the Michelli train. I do think the DeBrusk thing, if the Oilers were serious, that's something they could put together. There's a few different ways to do it, and I think this is, as I've said to others, like this is the only time in the history that you're going to pull off a trade like this with the Canucks. And no doubt DeBrusk wants out. It's a long contract for Vancouver. So I'm sure they'd be all right with a little shorter term, but the numbers make it a little bit less, very unlikely. Let's just put it that way. But I'd be 100% on the Michelli train. I think that's what's going to happen.
Ryan?
So I think we're in agreement on the team, and random Mike is kind of in my head here. Not so much with Lawrence, but Nicholas Roy, or Roy, however you want to pronounce it. Bob Stauffer on the Tuesday home game against the Flames right before the Christmas break suggested that the Oilers would be not aggressively, but the Oilers would be in on a big right-handed top 9 center before the trade deadline. And he said that player would be on a team that thinks they're still in it right now, but won't be by the trade deadline. I think most teams still think they're in it. I think Vancouver's probably the only one that really doesn't think they're in it right now, as we've seen with the Quinn Hughes trade. So the Leafs have Nick Waugh. Like, there's not a lot of big right-hand centers that would fill a top 9 role. So that seems like one guy that the Oilers could potentially be interested in. As you guys pointed out, the Treliving Mangiapane relationship is there. And they both have an extra year on their deal. So time-wise, or term-wise, it makes sense. Now, do the Leafs really want to give up Waugh for a third line or for a winger? I'm not sure if they want to do that or not, but that's a thought that I had.
Patrick, what do you think? I know you've given the rundown, but how do you think this is actually gonna kind of work its way out, and how does that gonna shake out?
Well, I think it's going to be Toronto, Michelli, or I know Lotsy and I were talking about Nicholas Waugh as well, so that I could see that one as another possible outcome. It's going to happen here. I think both sides, when it's become this public and Stan Bowman says he's on it, I think this is a situation that both sides want to get done. I don't imagine it's going to take longer than a few days here. The Oilers, I think, have a little bit of a break after tomorrow's game, but maybe a couple days in there. But it doesn't, even if he's probably going to be a healthy scratch, whether he's playing or not, or the Oilers are playing or not, really shouldn't come into a factor as to whether a trade goes down. So I imagine this one goes down pretty quick. And if not Toronto, I'm not sure where. Maybe he was with Washington last year. Maybe Washington has interest in bringing him back. Who knows? But yeah, Toronto, I think, makes the most sense.
Anyone can jump in after this, but okay, well, Ryan, after this, thoughts on potentially also adding Columbus into the mix, maybe, and go play with his buddy Sean Monahan. I think there's some relationship there, some leverage that Monahan could have, and there's room in the cap. Seattle, maybe middling for, after the Mason Marchment, and middling for some middle six. So perhaps there's room there. I like to joke that could be the future considerations for Connor Ingram. Just give him Mangiapane. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I was going to throw Columbus into the mix. I heard Columbus, Toronto, and Dallas as potential favorites for landing spots right now. So we'll see how that shakes out. Personally, I don't really care where he goes. I just don't. I wasn't that pumped about the signing in the summer. Like, I was okay with it at 3.6 million for him to play on our third line, but I knew he wanted to play in the top six somewhere, and they did a little behind the scenes on the drop where they were talking with the agent. They showed the Oilers' perspective on that, and they knew that he wanted to play with Connor early on, and he had an opportunity there. It didn't work. I personally think he's delusional if he thinks he's a top six forward at this stage of his NHL career. Dude had one good season a long time ago now, and last season he was horrendous in Washington. Yeah, didn't get a lot of opportunity, but he got some opportunity here and didn't do anything with it. And so yeah, I'm more than happy to get rid of the guy if he wants to go. Let him sail on. That's all good by me. And the other thing we got to remember is we got to be careful with the cap, just because we still have to shed a lot of money to get Wallman and Kapanen off of LTIR. And then we still have to drop a goalie to make room for Jari on the active roster, right? So like, there's still some money that needs to be juggled. Even if I know Nick Waugh makes $3 million and Mangiapane is 3.6. That's a net win for the Oilers, but they'd still need to retain on Roy, and we'd still have to trade somebody else out to make that work. So even a guy like a Charlie Coyle who has a third line center of 5.25 million is possible, but not without salary retention.
Yeah, don't be excited if Mangiapane gets shipped out. That cap space isn't really usable, I guess is the way to put that. What is Mangiapane, like Italian for eat bread or something like that?
Yep.
Cool. Go eat some bread somewhere else. His best year was as a Flame, and I just, I still have that burnt into my memory. When I remember the Mangiapane that was peak Mangiapane, it's like a jitterbug out there, right? He was like a skilled Arvidsson, like kind of in the play, but almost more dynamic or had better hockey sense or something like that. It was really fun to watch. In his younger years, I thought, oh boy, here we are, another great player coming into Calgary. It didn't last long, and I think the spark ran out. But I think when he lost some of his foot speed, he kind of lost his edge or his advantage almost. And he's never really been the same since. So, for me, he'll always be that Flame, and that rarely works in an Oilers jersey. Michael?
Yeah, skilled Arvidsson. That's funny.
A more skilled Arvidsson?
The implication there.
Well, I don't know. Another jitterbug that falls over all the time. Like, what do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Is his first name Jeff?
Yeah. I mean, it was hopeful when Mangiapane signed with the Oilers. And of course, over the first couple of games, it looked like it was going to be a steal. But yeah, I mean, we've seen his type of player how many times in Edmonton? Yamamoto, Arvidsson, Mangiapane, and they're streaky. They're streaky at the best of times. $3.5 million for a streaky player is tough. When Mangiapane left Calgary, I remember thinking that it would be that he's not going to compete the same way. Like he was just in the right situation in Calgary with the right players, the right team at the right time. So I shouldn't be surprised. I am a little bit surprised. I thought he'd be better. I thought he'd do better in the Oilers lineup, to be fair.
Who's the coach in Calgary? That wasn't Sutter. So past that, probably, right?
I think he did overlap with Sutter.
Coach Mangiapane in Calgary. See how accurate AI is today.
Well, I think
Boston Hockey saying that Mangi started good, but just doesn't look comfortable. Like he hasn't looked comfortable with anybody at all this season so far. So yeah, that's absolutely right. Doesn't seem to matter who he's playing with, up, down in the lineup. Doesn't seem to matter. Russ Jericho, he's been subpar, you could say. But it's been a slice, absolutely. If that's how he feels and he wants to go play top six somewhere else, he can go have fun doing that. That's all good by me.
Yeah, I mean, he wants out, so let him out. You probably said it first, Ryan, which was, who cares where he goes, right? Like, get him out. You can't add cap. Hope he does well. I don't wish him ill will unless if he goes back to Calgary.
Yeah, Austin Hockey says it was Sutter, Russ Jericho, guest Bill Peters. They're both right. Bill Peters from 18-19, Jeff Ward from 19 to 21, Sutter 21 to 23, and Ryan Huska present, but he also had Mangiapane in the AHL. Ryan Huska did. So. To present. There you go. That's not even accurate because that's an Oilers now. Where is Huska right now? Right, Calgary, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's Calgary coach. Yep.
Oh yeah, I was really dumb there. Anyways, so in 21 was Mangiapane there in 21 when Sutter was there?
Yeah, Mangiapane left for Washington last season. So anytime before last season, he was in Calgary.
So he might have had some Huska then, if Huska was there in 23.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yep. So there you go. 4 coaches. I don't know why I brought that up. I thought they're all kind of ass whoopers, I guess is my point. And Mangiapane, to Michael's point, played well under that coaching system. So premier artists, Mangi is -16, next lowest -10. That says something.
I know a bunch of that came in 1 or 2 games. Aside from that, still a minus player, but not quite as bad as the overall total makes it seem.
Absolutely. You bet. Friend of Michael, friend of the show named Cardinal. Happy holidays to you as well, my friend, our friend. Okay, guys, we've talked about the Oilers. I'll give you guys each another shot at, whatever, if you want to talk about it. Maybe throw in some World Juniors comments before we dive into the Olympic stuff if you want. But one more around the horn before we start off on predicting presenting is the word I'm looking for. Thank you very much. Our Olympic rosters. So I don't know. Patrick, you've been quiet for a while. Anything else on Oilers you want to talk about? Comments on the World Juniors, maybe where you think this version of the World Junior team might be headed, and then we'll go around the horn and get back to the Olympics.
Well, I was just going to mention, like, in regards to Andrew Mangiapane, I think he's going to be the last attempt for this team, I think, to try and get somebody cheaper that they can fit into that top 6, top 9 as kind of a reclamation project. They've tried it multiple times now. It hasn't really worked with any of the players. Next year, they'll actually have the cap space to bring in somebody legit for the top 6 that they can actually spend money on. So I think this is just showing them that maybe the pro scouting isn't exactly there with picking guys that can be potential reclamation projects or cheaper fits, because we've seen all of them not connect with this team for whatever reason, whether it's where head coach Chris Knobloch plays them in the lineup. They all want to be top 6, top 9 guys. They all end up on the 4th line, and wonder of all wonders, they're not 4th line players. So it doesn't work out and they end up leaving town. So I think that's just kind of my comment there. I hope this is the last time that they try and find something where we'll try and save a bit of money, try and see if we can make this work. Clearly, you guys don't have the right people picking these guys to find that solution that's cheaper. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on that. And really don't have too much to add on the World Juniors. Haven't been watching much of it. So I'll move on to who's ever next year. But I just want to throw in that comment on Mangiapane and the Oilers' attempts there.
Austin Hockey, his 35-goal season was under Sutter. So thank you for the added context to that. That was the same year that Tkachuk, Goudreau, and Lindholm were on that top line. All had 40-plus goals. I think they're first, second, and third in the league in plus-minus or something that year. I've been doing this long enough with Michael, and I remember very clearly, as he smirks to smirk right now, how over the moon that team was and how completely injury-free. And, Michael, I'm going to use this as my segue to you, buddy. They were lucky as hell that year.
Yeah. I'm glad Austin posted that. I remember that too, and that's why I thought Mangiapane we'd see a big drop, because every one of those guys had career years, every single one of them, and that's just like, it happens, right? It happens in a season. Unreal. Anyway, I mean, if you're a Flames fan, that was terrific to watch. But yeah, he's gone. I mean, we won't see Mangiapane. We might see him in Boston. I doubt it. I think he'll probably be a healthy scratch if Bowman's seriously working the phones, which no doubt he is. And the agent is too. Who knows what the agent draws up, right? His first call would have been to Trey Living.
Yeah.
Right.
Final.
So,
Yep.
yeah. World Juniors. Man, like, not enough is said about the Canadian team. Like the top players are in the NHL. I mean, people say it, they kind of mention it briefly, but we always worry about the World Juniors. But look at Macklin Celebrini, right? Like this guy would
Any
be
good?
Yeah. I mean, it is just it's good. It's good to see sort of the up and comers. They're all first rounders. They have trouble with Czechia. They have trouble with Latvia every year. Denmark, they kind of walked over. Look, there's some awesome players on there. Sadly, one of them's a Flames prospect, that Parake. What a goal scorer, right? The Canadian or the Edmonton Metro kid there from Keaton Verhoff. They're like big guy, great hands. He's he only got in for the one game so far, but there's a lot of talent in Team Canada. McKenna finally getting some goals. That one where he wrapped around in the back of the goalie was pretty sweet against Denmark. The patience and the skill for something like that is next level. We'll see if he goes first overall or not. I know there's with the way he's playing in the NCAA. There's some discussion around that. As far as the Oilers go, I do want to say, like, I don't know if it was off air or on air, but remember when we were worried about the Oilers back a little while ago, I said things were going to even themselves out, right? In terms of like the teams that were like Anaheim came out on fire, right? And they've come back down to earth a little bit. San Jose, same thing, right? There were just too many. It's like that Flames sort of year in a box, right? Like too many teams were just having outstanding years. The only thing that doesn't seem to be righting itself is the Toronto Maple Leafs as far as the standings go. And no tears shed on this side. But the Oilers are on their way. And Connor McDavid, like, I remember there was somebody in our group chat, I won't call him out, but somebody said, he might be kind of on his peak, maybe even slightly on the way down. I mean, I don't know. This is him degrading even slightly. We're in for a treat. He could degrade like this every year. I'd be all right with that. Absolutely unbelievable. I'm just I'm over the top in terms of how he's been playing, and can't wait to see him in the Olympics, and excited to talk about the Olympic team. I actually, having said all that, I'm probably on record. It's probably on a podcast. I said I wasn't really thrilled about the Olympics, but now with McDavid playing the way he is, I'm pumped. Like, bring it on. Like, when's the Olympics getting here? I can't, I want to see this guy on the world stage like we saw Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky back in the day. Unbelievable. Okay, I'm done.
No, well said, brother. I think that's all really good. I got a few things to pop in on that, so maybe I'll just say my piece, give it to Ryan to finish off, and then we'll jump in. I don't know if you guys heard the piece on After Hours when Connor McDavid was interviewed there, and they asked about the 2-week lull after the Four Nations. And I kind of giggled at his answer. Like, I mean, the Oiler fan in me kind of worried a little bit. Like, if I'm Daryl Cates, I don't know how I feel about his answer, to be honest. But if you didn't hear it, when Connor McDavid was asked, I think it was by Scott Oak, typical Scott Oak, but how do you avoid not sucking for 2 weeks is basically what he said. But how do you expect to avoid the 2-week lull after the Olympics that you've experienced after the Four Nations Cup? And Connor McDavid said with a, pardon my language, but an absolute shit-eating grin on his face, how was that gold medal? Anytime I get gold medal, I'll take a 2-week lull. So, if that's repeated, here we go on the Olympics. I'm excited as you are, Michael. There was a time last year where I didn't really want our players to play in the Four Nations Cup because I didn't want them to get hurt for the playoff run. I'm not sure this is a finals team this year, this Edmonton Oilers version. Fingers crossed. That's another podcast. But if it isn't, we better get that gold medal. I just about said a swear word. We got to get that gold medal. And it looks like Connor McDavid's been pacing himself all season, and he's ramping himself up right at the perfect time. So, yeah, I kind of say screw it. If it means a 2-week lull, the way the NHL's going this year, that'll just lend to the parity probably, and they'll be just fine anyways. So bring on the 2-week lull, bring on the gold medal. I can't believe it took all the way till Michael for Connor McDavid's name to come up. We'd be ashamed of ourselves. Is he playing the best of his career? Probably. I don't know how you play any better. I'm also not going to name who said that they might be that player might be at their peak, but I am going to name who wrote an article about him not being over the hill. Because
Nuge wrote an article.
No,
That's
it was.
nice. Yeah, okay.
This is my head. This is Nuge. This is. Get your rights and left straight, for crying out loud, Patrick. So yeah, I wrote an article about McDavid's speed, and then the fact of the matter is, whether it has anything to do with the way he's playing or not, he's the fastest he's ever been. So if there's a correlation there, I'm not going to doubt it. Mangiapane, yeah, go eat bread somewhere. Good enough. I was going to bring up Roslovic. I thought it was really good last game. Being asked to play a role where you drive a line on the third line playing center, where he's, in Carolina said he's not comfortable playing. You give him 2 absolute frickin' Eric Belanger boat anchors as wingers. Like, is there anything worse right now than having Frederick and struggling players? I was baffled, and then Henrique, sure enough, Roslovic, they're on the score sheet. So good on him. There's been a few people talking about Roslovic in the chat. It's worth mentioning. I hope he's re-signed. I hope he's an Oiler for a long time if he's going to continue to play this way. Fair warned, he's been streaky over times, and he hasn't been able to stick on teams. So, sometimes it takes opportunity, coaching, and the right attitude, and maybe that's here. Or maybe he's old Roslovic and dips a bit, and we'll see, I guess, to be determined. World Juniors, really great point, Michael, on leaving our best players behind and still being able to play the way we do and finish the way we do. That said, this year's version seems a little slow to start. Again, Michael said it. I think we start slow against those teams anyways. I do believe there's an element of pacing themselves and self-load management a little bit. And I doubt that we've seen the best version of this team yet. Craig Button mentioned it last week on EST. This is only the second time in World Junior histories where the entire team's been a first rounder. So ultimately that should lend to a pretty high quality team. And, there's some absolute, beasts on that team like Tidja Genla who haven't even got going yet. So it'll be really interesting to see how that goes. I think they'll be just fine. Whether they're a gold medal team, they should be. But there's a lot of parity in the World Juniors nowadays too. So those top 4, 5, 6 teams are getting harder and harder to distinguish. Ryan Lotsberg, final thoughts on Oilers, thoughts on World Juniors, and that should pretty much take us through the first 30 minutes. So well done, executive producer.
Yeah, thank you for that. But I'll keep it short. Oilers, Mangiapane, see ya. Not upset about that at all. A little sad to see Noah Philp go, but ultimately I don't think it's a crippling blow to the organization's prospect pool or their immediate chances to win. This is a 27-year-old player that hasn't made a name for himself in the NHL yet. And we've got some younger guys coming up behind him now, like a Josh Szymanski, who's playing really well in Bakersfield. So as much as I like Philp as a guy and a story and don't hate him as a player, I just think this was a tough roster for him to crack. And I hope he has more of an opportunity in Carolina. And I would say the same thing for David Tomashek. All the respect in the world for the guy who led the SHL in scoring and has done a great job in Europe, putting up numbers over the past 3-4 years, earned himself an NHL shot, came over here, gave it a try. It was his dream to do so. It didn't pan up for him and it wasn't a great fit, but nothing but respect for the guy for earning a shot and living out his dream. So yeah, that's where we're at on the Oilers. And yeah, McDavid praise, you guys hit it. He's playing unbelievable. And the last thing I'll say in the Oilers is first place in the Pacific, baby. Let's go. World Juniors. This is Gavin McKenna's team, right? It's his draft year. I'm pretty sure he'll be in the show next year. This should be his tournament to dominate, and we haven't seen him do it quite yet. The hat trick against Denmark was nice to see, but I didn't see that in the games against Czechia and Latvia. And yeah, we can talk about the top end talent in Canada being in the NHL, and we're still able to put up a team that should win this tournament. But kudos to Czechia. They've been a program that's coming on strong in the last 3-4 years. It's not a fluke that they're giving Canada fits. Like, that's a really strong program they got there now. And Latvia, my goodness. Like, not just at the World Junior level, but did they not win a bronze at the Worlds 2 years ago? Right. So they're up and coming as a hockey country as well. So it's great to see. It's great for the tournament that there's a little bit more parity. As much as I want to see Canada win gold every single year, it's better for the tournament and better for the product if there's teams that can be more of a threat than just the typical 2 or 3. So that's awesome to see. Yeah, I'm excited to see how that tournament unfolds. The Americans are dangerous. The Swedes with Ivar Stenberg are really dangerous as well. But ultimately, this should be the Gavin McKenna show, and I need to see him run it, and I hope you will. So, yeah, over to you, Dash. Let's get into the Olympic stuff.
All right, man. That sounds good.
I'm glad you threw a few nice words in there about Noah Philp. I was about to get really angry with you.
You know, maybe we could trade Mangiapane to the Carolina team there for that nice young kid, Noah Philp. That might just work out well, too. And final thoughts on World Juniors. We haven't really seen Gavin McKenna take over at any league this year. So bring on the 96 draft. Let's see how that goes. Ryan has an earthquake. Is your condo okay? You're all right? All right.
9.5 on the Richter scale.
All right. For those listening, Ryan's screen just started vibrating in a very odd speed. All right. On to the Olympics, maybe a little radio reset. You're listening to the Heavy Hockey Podcast, Episode 7. We're about to get into our special Olympic edition. I am Dash in the Park. I've got my good friend, my business partner, and very, very, very young-looking 50-year-old Michael at Oilers Live with us. Ryan at Lotsy. Ryan. And Patrick, the Oilers fanatic. We're going to get into our Olympic roster predictions. I think this is going to be fun. We're going to break it down as such. I think first we're going to go around the horn and talk about our top 6. I think there's some locks in there, but there also might be a few surprises and worthy discussion. We'll go around the horn on everybody's top 6. From there, we'll do our bottom 6. Or as Patrick has corrected me several times, the first and second line and the third and fourth line, because Canada does not have a bottom 6. Well said, my Patriot friend. Then we'll get into the D, then we'll get into the goalies, then we'll get into some predictions. I'd like to hear your guys' gold, silver, and bronze predictions, tournament MVP, potentially tournament goaltender if you want to talk about it. Who knows if we'll have time. Home Depot, Bed Bath & Beyond. All right. I don't multitask well, and Ryan sent a private note. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Ryan, no, let's go Patrick. Patrick, I would like to hear who you have as your first and second line for Team Canada.
Well, on line number 1, I have Sidney Crosby Nathan McKinnon centering Sidney Crosby and Mitch Marner. And on my second line, I have Connor McDavid centering Macklin Celebrini and Connor Bedard.
All right, go over the first line again. Tell us why you picked it.
I think Crosby and McKinnon are a natural match there. I wanted to have the 2 younger guys with Connor McDavid on the second line there, and I felt Mitch Marner was top 6, even though I said I didn't have top 6, bottom 6. Felt he should be with McKinnon and Crosby. So that's why I have those three guys together. I think the youth with Connor McDavid, with especially how he's playing right now, with how Macklin Celebrini's playing right now, definitely has a chance to be an extremely dangerous line for Canada. So that one got me pretty excited. So that's why I wanted to put the two young guys together. Like I said, Crosby and McKinnon are a natural match there, and Mitch Marner, I felt fit the best with those two guys there.
Cool. I like that a lot. McDavid between Celebrini and Bedard would be one hell of an exciting line. I don't hate the dynamic there. You've got McDavid's speed, the Celebrini, board play, and his way to be able to protect the puck and make space for McDavid, and then Bedard hopefully just finding space to get that shot off. Looks great. All right, let's jump into the next person. We'll do their top six. So let's say Ryan. How about you go next, buddy? Oh, we got others live. Whatever. Okay, Lotsy. There we go. I don't care. Just do one. Damn it.
I can go.
Go, Michael.
I can go. All right. For line number one, I mean, I'm not going to put McDavid on line two like Patrick. I'll put him up on line one. And center, yeah. And on his right wing, we're going to have Hyman. And Celebrini on the left side. And I love the Celebrini McDavid line combo. And then line two, I've got Crosby down the middle, McKinnon on the right-hand side. And I'm going to go with Reinhart on the left-hand side.
I get the McDavid Hyman. I get the McKinnon Crosby. Why don't you explain the Celebrini and Reinhart as wingers, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you got guys like McDavid, Crosby, and McKinnon. You need guys to put puck in the net, right? And guys that are going to get those goals when you need them. Reinhart and Hyman are those guys. Like Josh from Tough Call Pod said in our group chat, Hyman's one of the few guys that gets the in the garbage areas all the time. Both, if you got McDavid and Celebrini there, somebody's going to hit him with the puck, right? Like, bank it off of him, whatever, right? Reinhart, look, he's earned his spot. He's, I'm not going to say quietly, but he's good. It's like Draisaitl. Year over year, he's a goal scorer. And, put him with Crosby and McKinnon, who absolutely have to play together. He deserved his spot up there in the top six for sure.
Yeah, I love the tenacity on that second line of yours. Can you imagine going into the corner against either McKinnon, Crosby, or Reinhart when they want to win a game? My God. No, thank you. Ace has commented McKinnon maybe at center there. I don't necessarily disagree. I don't think you can ever make a bad decision having Crosby at center. That said, they probably whisper in each other's ears some sweet nothings and figure it out amongst themselves when they go out on the ice. Enough said. They're both lefties, right? Yeah, they're both lefties. All right. I like that a lot. Lotsy, by default, you're next.
All right. So you guys see my background and you know what I'm about. McDavid's my guy. So he's my number one center. On his right side, I'm going with the youngster Connor Bedard. And on their left wing, I have none other than one legendary Sidney Crosby. Crosby's 38 years old now. This is the McDavid and the McKinnon generation. It's time to pass the torch. So that's why he's over on the wing. I absolutely love the McDavid-Bedard combination. I think Bedard has a knack for being able to sneak into quiet areas, and that release of his is absolutely ridiculous. He can control the puck in traffic, which he'll need to do with the smaller ice surface, and I think he's a guy who will be able to do something with a lot of the pucks that McDavid throws into the slot. And he'll be able to finish a lot of plays for McDavid. And Crosby will be able to keep some pucks alive and get the cycle going with those two. And he's smart enough to do some give and goes and trade pucks with those guys. So I really like that combination. Down the middle of the line, too, we've got Nate McKinnon. Of course, natural fit there. On his left, we're going with the other young guy, Macklin Celebrini. And we're going Sam Reinhart on their right side. So Celebrini, like I'll admit I haven't watched a ton of him, but from what I understand, like he can do a little bit of everything. He can draw defenders towards him, he can find empty space, he can work off teammates well. And so I think that makes him a decent fit with most anybody, but McKinnon's going to be the transporter of the puck on that line. And then Sam Reinhart's going to be your cerebral, find some space, work along the walls, and finish plays when you need to type of guy. So I think there's a ton of skill on these lines. The Crosby McKinnon separation is going to be a little bit controversial, I think, but I think that this group will gel nicely if it gets a shot.
Love it. If I was to submit a roster, I would have a couple things different here. So I'll maybe say that. And based on that, we'll go back around the horn and kind of just give some final thoughts on overall on the top six. So mine probably is unique. It's been out there. I don't hate it. I'm not revealing the rest of my roster, so I can say versus this player versus that player, where I understand you guys don't want to say I put this person in line 2 instead of line 3 because you don't want to give away your line 3s. So I get to cheat. I recognize that. I would have not a first or second line. That's super fence city. I get it. You're going to go with whoever's humming that night, and that's who's probably going to get the 22 minutes instead of the 20 minutes. And for me, I don't know. I'm going Hyman, McDavid, and Nuge. I think you've got chemistry. You've got 3 world-class players. You got a guy in Nuge who's coming on 1,000 games, 1,000 points. The only Edmonton Oiler to have ever played all 1,000 games in that uniform. Now, there's been Oilers that have played 1,000 games, but none of them did it in an Oilers uniform. And there's others that have, done it elsewhere and then come and played their 1,000th game for Edmonton. So, anyways, not that the Olympics has anything to do with that, but it goes to lend to his class, to the type of player he is. And the reason I say I can cheat is, a lot of guys might have players like Suzuki on their team. I wouldn't. I think there's players that are going to make Team Canada that are very, very Nuge-esque. Very Nuge-esque. Whether you're going to have a Sorelli, why is Hagel there for his grit? Nuge probably has more career fight wins than Hagel. So, Nuge ain't lacking grit. And ultimately, he can penalty kill and do that very well. And for my second line, I'm probably going full Nova Scotia, baby. I like Crosby, McKinnon, and Brad Marchand. And it's the same thing. You got a penalty killer that can drop down if need be. Marchand's the guy that can keep that line going. They've got chemistry. They played in the past. And if I was naming a team, being there before would mean a lot. It would mean a lot. And maybe these are comments for later, maybe not. I'm long-winded already, but I feel like being there before means something. Not only experience-wise, but honor. This is our national crest. Drew Doughty deserves to be there. I kind of think Brad Marchand deserves to be there. They've earned it, and they have experience playing at that level. The NHL is bloody hard enough. I actually put it into AI before the podcast. How much time on average does an NHL player have to make a play? Less than a second. The time to make a play in the NHL is measured in milliseconds, gentlemen. Milliseconds. And the Olympics is twice as fast. Twice as fast. You need players that can make plays quickly. You need players that can think the game quickly. You need players that have been there before. Because that matters in this instance. When someone's pressing down on you, I don't care. I don't want Bouchard there. I'd take Doughty over Bouchard with a 2-on-1 with a game on the line every single time. And that's what matters. Bouchard, he could quarterback the power play if Makar gets hurt. Bullshit. Mitch Marner can quarterback the power play if Makar gets hurt. Doesn't matter. He did in Toronto. We got tons of power play quarterbacks. Let's go to the next 6. Patrick, who is your third and fourth line?
So my third line has Nick Suzuki at center, centering Brandon Hagel and Sam Reinhart. And my fourth line has Bo Horvat centering Braden Point and Tom Wilson. So my third
Point,
just
Wilson.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to get that caught up there. Yeah, Tom Wilson and then Bo Horvat, Braden Point.
So you got Horvat on the winger at center.
Horvat at center.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Horvat's got to be at center. He can win some face-offs. I guess Point can too.
And then, do you want to do your extras right now too?
Sure.
Extras are Brad Marchand and Sam Bennett.
I like that. Okay. Great lines, Patrick. Third line. Why do you got Hagel, Suzuki, and Reinhardt?
Basically, I just kind of ranked these in how special I think these players are. The guys that were in the first 2 lines, I think, are the most special, and these are just basically the next 6, 8 down. You can probably mix and match these. As you mentioned, Brad Marchand is a guy who's been to these things plenty of times. He knows what it takes. He can easily move up into these spots, and there's no saying that you come in with these lines and everything works magically. We saw struggles in the 4 Nations last year, finding chemistry with certain guys. So this is what I thought as a starting point here. Felt that Suzuki's had a strong year. Sam Reinhart, as we were talking about earlier, a lot of you guys had him in the top 6 there. He's a guy that continues to score. Brandon Hagel as well. Bo Horvat, Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson definitely brings to that physicality. He's a guy who could easily play up higher if he needed to, if he needed an energy shift. Braden Point, again, a player that continually produces there. Brad Marchand, like I said, he's got the experience. And Sam Bennett, we all hate him here in Edmonton, but he's back-to-back Stanley Cup winner, and he also knows what it takes to get the job done at that certain time. So, yeah, basically those were my guys there, kind of ranked in how valuable I felt they were, and that's how I kind of ranked them in lines 1 through 4 there.
All right. Michael, lines 3 and 4.
Yep. Great points, Patrick. My line 2, I've got Sam Bennett down the center. This is, by the way, the killer line, like the Broad Street Bullies kind of thing. Tom Wilson on the right, Brad Marchand on the left. And, I mean, yeah, we'll talk about it, but I love that line so much. Line 4, I've got Mitch Marner at center. Mark Stone on the right wing. And Brandon Hagel on the left. And then this one I really struggled with. Like Nick Suzuki deserves to be there. So I put him there, but I would have loved to put Nugent Hopkins on that, those 2. And then, of course, Braden Point's left. He's a guarantee. Yeah. So that's what I got for those last 8.
Let's talk about line BMW.
Oh, man,
some chaos there.
You know, this might be. I mean, this forward group for Canada, no matter what. I mean, you're like, there's 10 different forwards that could be on this team that, you know, I left off. You finally have like 3 guys that can wreak havoc and score goals. Like, I love it. Like, what a difference maker they'd be getting out there. You know, I could see some of the smaller teams just being scared to get on the ice, right? Like, these guys are, we're not making any friends, like, when those guys get on the ice. So I love that line so much. And Marchand, the guy just continues to do the impossible. And he did it against the Oilers, right? Like, he's just an amazing player. I hate him, but I love him at the same time. So yeah, the lineup.
Mark Stone makes it in for you and into the starting lineup.
Yeah, so I struggled with this. Stone's having a great year, and as he's proven when it comes to big games, like he's good and he's a leader. And again, like I want this bottom six to have some grit. And Mark Stone's a gritty guy. I like that. Marner, of course, and Stone play together, and they're doing awesome, right? Like they're having a great year together. It was a matter of who you put on the left side, and I was just like, if Nuge is going to be on the team, I want him playing with McDavid and Hyman, and so I put Hagel there. And you can't make you can't make a wrong choice. Maybe the toughest thing that I had is there's way more righties than lefties on this team.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's just goes for all the Canadian forwards. I actually was a little bit surprised at that when I was looking at it, but
me too.
Yeah.
I thought I got to look at who's right-handed to make sure we have enough right wingers. Then I was like, oh, geez, okay. Not a problem.
Yeah, it was weird, right? Like we've got I mean, that's why there's so many Canadian left-handed golfers, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, and Suzuki's earned his spot. Like he'll play no matter what, right? Yep. And Point obviously has earned his spot too. He's there, guaranteed.
Sorelli missing from all lineups so far. Maybe he creeps into Ryan's bottom 6 or bottom 8. I'm not sure. That said, John Cooper's the coach. He's going to have his say in this, and I think that means Hagel's going to be there for sure. One last final one for Michael. Connor Bedard does not make your team. Comments?
Injury. I mean, I'm not sure he's going to be ready.
Yeah, that's fair. My comment to that is you can name him and then bring a replacement if need be, right?
Yeah.
He was 4th in the league in scoring. The best at what he does in the NHL. And I think that's really key to note. Now I'm not, this is no disrespect to Ovechkin, Draisaitl, and the guys that can do it as best as they can, but what Connor Bedard does with the puck and how he does it with the puck is very unique. His ability to get that shot off from the heel, from the toe, from the backhand, in tight, outstretched, arms in, arms up, bottom hand down, one hand on his stick, and still get as much pepper as he does, it is almost.
And for me, the biggest challenge is that, like, that last spot. Is it Suzuki? Pardon me. Is it Nuge? Is it Bedard? Right? Like, you're right. Like, Bedard's earned it this year. And if not for the injury, I'd probably have him on there. I think Braden Point's taking a spot that should be there for somebody else, if I'm being honest. And not that he doesn't deserve to be there, but I wouldn't have him probably on my roster if not for the guarantee.
I just think Bedard's bred to be there. He's been one of those kids that's, I'd
probably take him over Suzuki if I knew that he'd be healthy.
Look what he did with I lost my train of thought when you went to Suzuki there. Oh, look what he did with World Juniors when he was there, setting records, beating Eric Lindros in points. Bedard's proven he can rise to the occasion. In a game, I mentioned it, when you have milliseconds or very few milliseconds to make a decision, get a shot off in a game that is more tight than any game they've ever played before. That one shot scorer that can get it off from an awkward place from anywhere just might be the guy that wins that in OT. You know what I mean? Like that's why Bedard makes my team, Michael, and I'm not piling on. But
well, somebody said it in the it was Ace said the chemistry will be critical. My lineup is based on chemistry.
Yeah, well,
every pair, there's a pair on each of those lines that has chemistry, right? Yeah. Marner and Stone, Bennett and Marchand, Crosby, McKinnon, McDavid, Hyman.
Yeah, well said. And you know what I love about your bottom 6 too there, Michael, is that everybody there can kill a penalty. Doesn't matter you throw any of those 6 out there and they're an elite penalty killer. And maybe you bring 4 penalty killers and 2 of them aren't going. That might end up being a problem, right?
Yeah.
Great lines. I like it. Ryan?
Just before Lotsy starts there, I was going to say Zach Hyman was my last cut too from my yeah. I wanted him in there. Sorry. Go ahead, Lotsy.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and I believe Friedman on Oilers Live said that, or not on Oilers Live, Oilers Now today said that Hyman pushed his way into the conversation at the very least. So like he's being considered. I don't know if he's going to make it or not, but he's certainly in the mix, and he was in my consideration as well. But my third line, the veteran Brad Marchand on the left side of Nick Suzuki, who has been one of the hottest scorers in the league ever since the Four Nations tournament. So I think he took being left off of that team personally, and I think he's earned a spot there. And the most talented winger that I haven't put on my roster yet, Mitch Marner, on that third line. It's a line that can defend, it's a line that can score, and it's a line that's got some speed. So I think it's a very versatile third line, which is important in a tournament like this. Then the bottom line, what have I got line for? I've got some we got a line that nobody's or a person that nobody's talked about yet.
Ooh.
Mark Scheifele. Centering or I'm going to say Tom Wilson first. Is that what I did? No, it is not what I did. Don't even know my own roster. Mark Stone. And then on the left side of those guys is Sam Bennett. Now, the reason I went here, Scheifele is again one of the hottest scorers in the league ever since the Four Nations, and I thought he should have been on the Four Nations team last year as well. I thought that was a bit of a snub. He's consistently one of the higher scoring players over the last couple of years. Right-handed center, as is Suzuki. So I got two lefties, two righties up the middle. Mark Stone, really high points per game averages this year, and fantastic defensive player. Really smart hockey stick. So I think he's an important guy to have on your team. He'll kill some penalties for you as well. And Sam Bennett, it pained me to put him on here. It really did. I don't think he's having that great of a season, but the reason that I have him not just on the team, but in my top 12 is because there's not a lot of left-handed options, and I wanted a guy that could kill some penalties. And I took down some penalty killing notes here. So Sam Bennett, he doesn't kill a lot of penalties, only 31 seconds a game, but in terms of high danger chances against per 60, he's second out of all these forwards that we're talking about here. So like I went down a natural stat trick, pulled up the list, scoured it for Team Canada hopefuls. His high danger chances against on the penalty kill is second out of all those Canadian hopeful forwards. So even if he kills 30 seconds a game on your second or third or on your third penalty kill unit, we needed a lefty there, and I think he is a good one there. And I mean, he did win the Conn Smythe, and he'll drop the gloves. He'll be annoying. I think you need a little bit of that as well in this tournament where the ice surface is going to be 3 feet smaller than a typical NHL rink. And that leads me to my 13th forward that I'm going to dress every game, Tom Wilson. I think you need a little bit of that jam in there. At the smaller rink, I want his physicality, and he'll kill some penalties for you as well. So even if he gets his ice time mostly on the penalty kill, and he gets a few 5-on-5 shifts, I'm okay with that. And my last guy here, just like Michael, here in the spot, but I don't think he's having a great year and probably wouldn't be on my roster otherwise, Braden Point.
Well, we love to disagree, Ryan. Suzuki's high on that lineup. I get the high scoring thing and how he's been since Four Nation. I do get that he deserves it. I don't know if I got him up that high. Scheifele probably has that position instead. That said, I get your mix in the lines. I'm going to correct you on one thing. Somebody that can drop the gloves, if they drop the gloves in the Olympics, they'll get kicked out of the game and potentially suspended. So I don't think we want any of our players dropping the gloves. It's not the Four Nations. Stone doesn't make my team, and he made 2 of your teams. Wilson doesn't make my team either. I think that there isn't a lot of room for Tom Wilson. I don't love the narrative. I'll pick on Ryan. I think it was said a few times, but since I'm picking on Ryan, I'll continue to. Smaller rink. who cares? So they got a foot and a half less in the neutral zone. What is Tom Wilson's advantage in having a 2 foot shorter, 3 foot shorter neutral zone? Nothing. Like, if anything, it takes away some of his open ice hits. The end zones are the same size. It doesn't matter. It's not like Tom Wilson can cycle the puck better because the neutral zone's smaller. So I'm just picking on you, Ryan, but I hate that narrative, and you are far from the only person to have that out there. That has never flown with me on Wilson, and I don't get it at all. We're bringing a guy for toughness because there was a fight at the opening faceoffs of Four Nations. I don't know. I'm sorry to use childish language, but that's stupid. I don't get it. You guys aren't stupid for the choice. I just don't like the narrative. I don't know if I really completed a bottom six. Like, I think experience matters. I also think the youth does matter. I'll maybe use this as a segue to get to defensemen. I like that Bedard is there for the reasons I've already stated. I love that Celebrini is going to be there. I didn't think that he would be after Four Nations. I didn't think he would be at the beginning of the season, but I think we can all agree what he's doing in San Jose is unbelievable. Like, who would have thought only, a few, or the next year after Bedard was drafted? No. Yeah, the next year. We already see somebody, with the pedigree of Bedard, let alone passing Bedard in pedigree and putting up numbers that all of a sudden Celebrini's entering lists that only McDavid, Lemieux, and Gretzky are on. This is a player that's doing something very special. He's got 60 points, and the next player on his team who's damn good, and Will Smith, has 29. He's got over double the next guy's points. What he's doing with nothing on that team is short of, I don't know what. Hot take, Celebrini wins a cup before McDavid. Ooh. We're not talking about cups. So I like that Celebrini's there. I've heard a lot of talk based on those players, as well as one on defense and Schaefer, that there's some grooming to be done. I'm going to just say it right now. You guys can use that in your statements if you want. I also think it's BS. The Olympics are every 4 years. If Schaefer's the stud that he is in 4 years, then he'll step in 4 years and he'll be a stud. He doesn't need to be on this team to be a stud in 4 years. And as we all anoint Schaefer the next one on defense for Team Canada, tisk. Wait for Landon Dupont. When Landon Dupont enters the NHL, there will be no more talk about who the next one is, because it'll all be about Landon Dupont. So by the time the next Olympic comes around, he might not even be the next one. So who cares if he made this team? You're trying to win this Olympics. Now, if Schaefer's good enough because he is a top 6 skilled Canadian forward in the NHL, I want to hear that. If he's not, in my opinion, he shouldn't be on the team. So from there, let's get into the defense. Patrick, you're up again, buddy.
Alrighty. So my top pairing, no surprise, Devin Tays, Cale Makar. Second pairing, Josh Morrissey, Shea Theodore. Third pairing, Travis Sanheim, Colton Parayko. My number 7 guy is Thomas Harley, and I'm bringing Evan Bouchard as my number 8 defenseman.
Goosebumps.
So,
yeah. Somebody did it.
So I think the top pairing of Tays and Makar, we were talking about chemistry, got 2 guys that play together in Colorado. I think that's just an absolute given. I'd be shocked if anybody has any different than that. Morrissey, Theodore, same thing. Obviously, they don't play together, but they have the experience from the Four Nations, and basically all the reports is that we were probably getting pretty close, if not the same defense that we had for Four Nations for Team Canada. Travis Sanheim, Colton Parayko there basically for those reasons, and that's why I didn't really deviate too much, because it was probably going to be pretty close to the same. I just want to bring Evan Bouchard because for reasons that Dash started off the show,
it's all right.
Completely blasting. I think he is a good replacement there. Should something happen to Cale Makar, he's someone who can step in, and Evan Bouchard plays the best when the moment is the biggest, and there's no bigger moment aside from maybe the Stanley Cup Finals here than the Olympics here. So Evan Bouchard, I wouldn't probably bring him if it's a 50-game tournament. For a short tournament, I think Evan Bouchard is a guy you'd want there as the number 8 defenseman, not necessarily in your top 6 or anything like that. But if we can bring 8, I think Evan Bouchard should be among those 8.
All right. Yeah, Bouchard's not making my team. Just that's how it is for me.
Really?
Yeah. Shocking based on what I said earlier. There's just too many well-rounded defensemen in the NHL. Any one of them can step up and be a quarterback for a power play or do those things that Bouchard does really well. Now he might be a touch better offensively. I get that. I'm not disagreeing. He would be the second best option to quarterback a power play. Okay. But I don't know if you bring him just because of that. Because quite honestly, I think that Morrissey, Theodore, Marner, or anybody else could Nuge on my team could quarterback that power play as well.
Well, I wouldn't bring him just because of the power play as a quarterback. I think because he plays his best when the games are big is my biggest thing is why he's there.
Yeah, like Game 6, that play of him and Ekholm. Do you want to talk about that?
No.
Okay. So then we'll move on to Michael. Let's see here.
We can talk about other plays though.
I'm with you, Patrick. Although I'd actually have Bouchard in my starting D lines.
Wow.
Taves and Makar, obviously. As you said, you'd be surprised or shocked, Patrick. And then I'd put Morrissey and Bouchard. Chikrin and Parayko. And to be fair, like based on how the games go, would be who I'm playing every night. Like there's it's not as deep as the forwards, but there's some good D and Canadian D. And a big surprise, this one is off the board for I think a lot of people. I'd have Matheson.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then
I don't hate that. Yeah,
and then Sanheim.
Oh, is that right?
And I pick Matheson. He plays a lot of PK minutes. He's a big guy. I really like him, and I've liked him for a little while now. Left again and lefty, right? I'm going through this. I'm just surprised at how many right-handed Canadian players there are, and but I look. You talked about it earlier, Dash, about guys that deserve a shot, and Bouchard's done everything to deserve a shot, and he's done it in the playoffs, and he's done it when it matters. These guys, there's this is a big defensive core, right? Like some big guys. And I think Bouchard deserves the shot at it. And I think he can play well under pressure. And I think this is exactly the tournament to put him in. Makar and Taves, though, they're going to eat up a lot of minutes. Doesn't matter who you got in the bottom 4.
Yeah, I looked up 4 nations. Taves and Makar were first and fourth respectively in time on ice for the whole tournament for all teams.
And Makar is
he was
unreal.
26 minutes a night. Taves was 24 minutes a night, and that was first and fourth respectively for the whole tournament for all teams. So great point on that. Chikrin, I'm assuming that pick is based on his play this year. He's 14 goals. He's been one of the best and dynamic offensive producing defensemen this year. I don't hate the pick. I don't love the pick. The reason I don't love it is Chychrun seems to be one of those players that flourishes in very particular systems. He can either disappear or be excellent. And my personal opinion right now is he's just on one of those excellent streaks. So, if he takes that into the Olympics, Michael, it's an excellent pick. It's a gamble that pays off for you. And I don't mind taking a gamble. What I don't like is that if he, the system or the opportunity or it doesn't quite fit, he kind of can be one of those players that disappears, and we can't really have anybody disappearing. Love the Matheson pick, to be honest. I didn't see that coming from anybody, but I'm a big fan of his. He can do everything above average, if not great. Everything great, which I'm going to go back to my boy Ace. I want D-men who can play defense. And Matheson can play defense.
That was
Bouchard,
a huge
well,
part of why I picked him.
Yeah.
Too, right?
Yeah.
He plays, over 2 minutes a night on a PK, right?
Yeah.
Like that's huge.
Yeah, great point there too as well. Yeah, good insight. I like that, Michael. Okay, Ryan, you're up, buddy.
All right. So no analysis needed for the top pair. Taves, Makar. Bada bing, bada boom. My second pair, I've got Theodore. And I have to do it as well. Evan Bouchard.
Homer.
So the reason I have Bouchard up here, it's not just power play related. Part of it is playoff related. He's had incredible runs of success in the playoffs. But if I'm looking at the Canadian right-handed depth chart here, and again, what I did is I went to Natural Stat Trick and I looked up expected goals for percentages of all the Canadian players, and the top three righties in my aside from Makar, you got Doughty, Bouchard, Pareko. They're 57, 58, and 59. So like, from that standpoint, they're all about equal. Out of those three, Bouchard is the most talented. He can do the soft, deft touch passes, and he's the best passer in the group, the most prolific offensive producer in the group. And this tournament's about puck possession. And you look at our forwards, not just my roster, but all of our rosters. It's fast, and it's about puck possession. And you need guys who can get those pucks up to the forwards efficiently, and that's Evan Bouchard. So I have him on my second pairing. And pair three, I got Josh Morrissey alongside Drew Doughty. I think you got to bring Doughty along here, if nothing else, for the vibes in the locker room. Now, do I love him starting? Not necessarily, but they're, like Michael said, it's not super deep. It's not as deep as the forward group. And when I announce my seventh and eighth picks here, you'll kind of understand why I have Doughty in there. So you get to dress 7D every game. So I have Colton Pareko as my 7, and he's basically there just for penalty killing, in my opinion. So I like his size as well. So again, if you need that element with the reduced space you're going to have, Dash doesn't think it matters, but I think it's going to matter a little bit. You need a little bit of physicality, especially when you look at the forward group. It's not big. There's not a lot of size. We had to pick and choose a few guys that could do that just because we need a little bit of it. But especially in the top 9, there's not a lot of it to be had. So you had somebody on the back end that can do a little bit of that. That's not the worst thing. Like, I don't love Pareko's name being involved in this level of conversation here. I don't think he's that caliber of player, but I think that just shows you where the depth of the Canadian defense is at.
2 words, Doug Armstrong.
That's part of it too, but looking at the numbers, like, I couldn't find a reason not to take him, unfortunately, so he's here. Okay. And then this was a tough decision for me, and I don't love this pick either. I'm going Sanheim. He can play both sides. If something happens, he can fit anywhere in the lineup, and he'll kill penalties for you at the very least. And like, he's reliable. He's not going to hurt you. So my honorable mention there was Jacob Chychrun, and the reason I kind of went away from that one is because he's a 5v5 specialist only. He's not that versatile. He's 5v5 power play, but he doesn't kill penalties at all. So I opted for the guy. If he's going to come in and be an extra, I need him to do a little bit of everything, and that's Sanheim.
Yeah, a little bit of everything, guys, makes sense. There's probably not a large gap between Sanheim, Matheson, and Doughty at this point in time at the Olympic level, right? Like, I think, there's youth between Doughty, but like we've all mentioned it, so clearly it's important. A defenseman or a couple defensemen that can do a little bit of everything becomes incredibly important. Those plug and play guys, and what I love about Doughty being there is, if there was an evaluation process and there was a column, or we're giving everybody rankings like EA Sports, Doughty's got a couple high ranks on a couple things other people don't. Experience is one of them. I think his ability to play both sides is pretty epic. He might be better on his off wing, to be honest. Being able to penalty kill, being able to lead a power play, being able to step in a first pairing role. If Schaefer makes it, I love the Doughty Schaefer pairing, right? You think of what Keith did for Bouchard in his early years, kind of being that stay at home guy and then controlling half the ice, locker room presence, all of that. I think all that matters. Doughty makes my team every time. Bouchard does not make my team anytime. Sarah will now be a fan of me. You guys had too much Thanksgiving or Christmas turkey because the blood has left your brain and it's in your stomach at this point. Bouchard in the top 4 is even more asinine for me. That said, let's get to the goalies. We got 9 minutes of airtime, and I would like some predictions. I don't think goalies take a ton of explanation, so let's just do it once each and get there. Patrick?
Stuart Skinner, Tristan Jarry. No,
Colin Pickard.
Connor Ingram.
No, I got Logan Thompson, Mackenzie Blackwood, and Darcy Kemper as my 3 goaltenders. So was really tempted to put Jordan Binnington in there, but his play this year has not been deserving of being on Team Canada despite his performance at the Four Nations. I mean, you want to bring some players because we talked about earlier with different positions, guys that have been there before, but for a goaltender, all 3 of these goalies have played important games throughout their career, so they can bring you the same kind of jump desire that you want to see from those guys. So Logan Thompson, I think he's been the best this year. Mackenzie Blackwood's been obviously awesome for the Avs, and Darcy Kemper has been really consistent for the Kings as well. So I think that's going to be a strong 3 goaltenders there for Team Canada.
I won't say mine yet, but I've only got one of those. Michael?
Interesting. Yeah, I got the same as Patrick.
Oh, wow.
Thompson, Kemper, Blackwood. Same reasons. Binnington's just I mean, I struggled with that, to be fair, but I got the same guys.
Who's your honorable mention, Patrick?
Probably just because of how he performed at Four Nations, Jordan Binnington. Yeah.
Okay, same with Michael. Ryan, you're up.
No, this goalie segment's going to be pretty boring and pretty short. So Logan Thompson's my guy as well, and it's Blackwood and Kemper for me as well.
Wow.
I think this is the best 3 goaltenders in Canada right now. Based on the play of this season, that's the way it should shake out. Start any one of them over the other, it doesn't matter, but one of those 3 guys should be the starter. Thompson had a stronger start to the year. I think looking at the numbers, I'd have to look at Bunny Puck again, but Blackwood's numbers look pretty good across the board. I wouldn't even mind seeing him start. But Logan Thompson, he has the advantage of being a right-handed catching goalie, so that might be a little bit of a factor for some guys. You never know. But yeah, those are my 3.
Okay, my overall, I mean, I guess I agree with one of these goalies with all 3 of you. Excuse me. Sorry. Downside eating popcorn during the show. When I looked up and I saw that Binnington honorable mention, I'm not going to lie, Ace. I thought that was going to be Russ Jericho there for sure. All right, so my goalies would be Binnington comes back because he earned it. I said it about Doughty. I just don't think at a level where it matters and competitiveness matters. The ability to game matters. The ability to bring up your teammates matters. Binnington, the difference between Binnington and any of those other guys for me isn't big enough that he should be knocked off of the team completely. The other part of that's Doug Armstrong. So I definitely see Benner going back. You know what? Let him start. He's my starter. Honestly, he earned it. I know that's ridiculous. He's the worst statistical goalie in the NHL this year. He's got the shortest leash in Olympic history. And if he can't get through the first 2 periods, then he doesn't play again, and that's fine because we got 2 other goalies. Patrick?
Well, I was going to say with Doug Armstrong there, though, St. Louis has been playing Hofer over Binnington.
Well, that's the
So-
coach's decision, not the GM's decision.
I know,
So,
but if the GM had a big problem with it, I don't think it would continue.
was Hofer Canadian?
No, but
Wow.
a guy you don't want to play on your own team, you're going to put on for the national team.
Yeah, absolutely. And you might,
As a starter?
yeah, because what if you jump his trade value? Absolutely.
For me, like I'll be clear in saying that like this is the roster I want. This is the roster I think should be there. I think Binnington will be there though.
Yeah, no, fair, and I get that. I also want Binnington to be there. I think that fire matters. I can't read that entire username, but user something that looks like my Wi-Fi password says it's the Olympics. No need for motivational players. I completely, wholeheartedly disagree. The third string goalie, as well as those extra forwards, like quite honestly, their role is to keep the room light, and their role is to be glue guys, and their role is to be good teammates. So there's a very good chance that third string goalie doesn't even see the ice. So making Binnington there, making Binnington the starter, actually probably increases the chances of seeing all three goalies hit the ice, which is kind of cool too. Logan Thompson does not make my team. I don't think he's marginally that much better than the rest of Canada's goalies that he needs to be a shoe-in. He's had beef with Cassidy before as a coach. Cassidy's going to be on that bench. I think that any type of, now I know they're all professionals and they all have a common goal of winning a gold, but why? Why introduce any element of risk whatsoever? Like, Thompson says one thing to Cassidy. Like, by the way, Thompson's reputation is not being the greatest teammate. So, he says one thing wrong, and Cassidy wants to make a point. Now we're down to two goalies. What if it was Binner and now this or whatever, right? So I don't think he makes my team either. And when we're looking at the woods of Colorado, quite honestly, I like Wedgwood. I think he kind of fits this team better. He's leading the NHL in wins this year. I looked a little bit into it deeper. I actually heard on an Edvert podcast, so I'm stealing it a little bit. But Taves and Makar play better with Wedgwood. So there's that feeling and that chemistry. If Wedgwood get between the pipes, that you got Makar and Taves playing 26 and 22 minutes respectively in front of a goalie that they're very, very comfortable with. And Wedgwood has a very, very similar reputation like Pickard as being absolute frickin' beauty glue guy type of player. So that's my thoughts on the goalies. I see 2 minutes left. We can continue the podcast, but go ahead, right?
Yeah, Dash. I'll let you know. We never got onto air on EST, so like we have no restrictions.
Oh, okay.
Here.
All right. Sounds good. Good to know.
Don't tell that guy we've got no restrictions. What the hell?
All right.
This is your first podcast, Ryan? Come on.
Yeah.
What have I done?
In one fell swoop, he just went from executive producer to producer, maybe assistant producer.
New here?
Hey, just telling me this now.
This is exactly why you need experience on a team.
Right.
The intern.
Exactly. All right. Well, then I will not speed things up. Okay. Well, then let's go around the horn on the goalies. I said some controversial things there. My goaltenders are Wedgwood, Binnington, and Kemper. Kemper's earned it. I think he's been playing very well since Colorado. He's got some success. LA is not the greatest team, and he still had a great year this year. So, in my opinion, he might be the best Canadian goalie right now. He's got a Stanley Cup. I start with Binnington. I go to Kemper on a very, very short lease. And then if you need to, you go to Wedgwood, maybe Blackwood, whatever. But I like the Wedgwood thing and want it to be unique with the pick based on what I'd read. Michael, what else do you want to say about goaltending?
Yeah, I mean, Wedgwood's as deserving as these ones. I mean, it's not, it's not going to be the same goaltending as other teams have, which played into how I built my team.
Yeah.
Right. Like you gotta do something a little bit different, right? Like I went for strength and skill, right? Like with some of the players on the forward lines. Wedgwood or Blackwood, either or. Kemper, I think, is the one we all agree on, right? Like he's a must. Binnington, Like if you want to go with guys that were at the Four Nations, he's likely to be on there anyway. So I think we all know that, right? He's going to be there, and look, I mean, he was controversial even on Four Nations, right? Whether he should be there. So, but he got the job done. I don't know if he did it like, if it looked great. Reading the comments, getting spicy in there. All right. Anyway, yeah, it's good.
Without Binnington's save in overtime, Connor McDavid doesn't have a chance to score that overtime winner.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Bottom line. Patrick, last comments on goalies?
Yeah, I think probably based on merit, Jordan Binnington will be there. I don't think he'll be the starter. I think he'll be the number 3 guy. So, but
yeah, that's fair.
He probably will be there. Out of the 3 goalies I picked, he probably bumps, I don't know, maybe Logan Thompson, but it's kind of a toss-up. Like all 3 of those guys could be, even Binnington, if he comes through, could be a starter. Who knows? But yeah, obviously the Oilers, Team Canada doesn't have as deep of goaltending as some of the other countries, but I think we have good enough goaltending to get us by with the quality of talent that they have on the blue line and up front. They can get by and get this gold medal back here.
Excellent. I would agree. Mike's blushing. He loves comments on long leashes and handcuffs. Ryan, any comments on goaltending or handcuffs?
I mean, on the Wedgwood one, he's the backup on his own team, so I don't see him making Team Canada on that logic alone. I'd go Blackwood over Wedgwood, but I think Binnington is going to be on the roster. I don't think there's anything we can do about it because Doug Armstrong is managing this team and he did what he did in Four Nations. Like he's going to be there, whether we like it or not. So just accept it now. So yeah, Binnington's there. I think the Stanley Cup experience is important to the Team Canada execs. So Kemper's there as well. And then your third, it's up for debate. Thompson, Blackwood. I'd probably go to. I just said I'd probably go Blackwood in my previous segment, but now I'm going back to Thompson because he seems to be the consensus number 1 guy from most people right now. So those are probably my 3 that I think Team Canada will pick. But again, reality is you're right. Like it's not the best goaltending in the tournament, and it's a good team in front of them. So I don't think the goalie's going to need to stand on his head to steal one. Just needs average goaltending at steel. Do we need Connor Hellebuck or Andrei Vasilevsky to win a Stanley Cup? Not necessarily. You just got to get lightning in a bottle at the right time. So I think any of these goaltenders, any of the 4 or 5 we're mentioning, could do it.
Ace is the guy Sarah loves to hate. Ace is the guy I love to love. Ace and I have had a bromance for a while, and I love that he's in with some of this stuff. We'll end with this. Some people agree that there should be cheerleaders, some don't. Ace has suggested Tommy Chong, and I'm not sure how that helps with cheerleading, but Dave's not here, man. All right. So let's, do you guys want to go around the horn on predictions? I'd like to hear where you think gold, silver, and bronze end up, and who your tournament MVP is. And if any of you say Bouchard, I'm ending the stream immediately. Patrick, you're up.
Lotsy, get the controls from him.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wrestle those controls away from me.
You are muted,
Lotsy.
Canada gold, USA silver, Sweden bronze. I'll go. Tournament MVP. I'm gonna go Sidney Crosby. I think he comes through and has one amazing final Olympics here because this is probably his last one. Although, not saying Sidney Crosby couldn't make it in 4 years, entirely possible, but probably his last one. So I think Sidney Crosby goes out with a big bang here as the MVP.
Medalists?
Yeah, he said Canada, US.
Oh, I missed the bronze. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, there's Sweden bronze. Yeah.
Okay. Michael?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna go off and say Finland's getting bronze just to be different. and
You'll like my bronze.
yeah, maybe screw up some all Swedish, no finish, as they say. Yeah, and then I mean, I just can't. The way that McDavid's playing right now, if I can't bet against him on anything, he's got MVP locked up. If not him, Binnington.
Okay. Silver, gold.
Canada, then USA. And then
Did I miss that as well? Do I have a hearing problem all of a sudden?
Yeah. All of a sudden,
I
like,
made
we're shocked.
I made a 3-year career of interrupting you guys and
He
blocking
really
Michael
just
out.
asked.
So yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. I apologize. Ryan.
I mean, I can't say anything other than Canada gold. I think the US silver, and just to be different, off the board, Czech Republic bronze medal. David Pastrnak, some star-studded scoring there. Marty Nikash, another player on the rise, and Lucas Dostal and net might just steal them a quarterfinal win and a bronze medal win as well.
Fair enough. I like
Evan Bouchard. A lot.
As it hits end.
itchy trigger finger. All right. I like Canada for gold. I think it's pretty tough to say anything but that, especially as a Canadian. I believe that the U.S. is going to run into some troubles this time around. I think the injury bug has not been talked enough about. Taychuk has not played a game this year. Matthew Tkachuk is off in the heartbeat of every team he's on, unless they're playing the Oilers in the playoffs. And often that team has the lifeblood of Chucky. I feel that Jack Hughes might be in the top 5 as far as talented players go in the NHL, but also top 5 in underrated and disrespected because he just can't stay healthy. And that's 2 major upfront players for this team. They've got some other injury problems as well. I like Sweden. I like Sweden to get by and get into that gold medal game against Canada. And after Canada, after the U.S. team ends up in the gold medal, let me start that sentence over. And when the U.S. team ends up in the bronze medal game, the disappointment of not being in the gold medal game will get to them. And Team Germany, on the back of Leon Draisaitl, will beat the U.S. in the bronze medal game. And the rest of the world will know what Edmonton knows, is that Draisaitl can put a team on his back no differently than Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, or anybody else in that league. So you heard it here first. Dry's chewing on a bronze. I don't know. If I'm going to do that, I think the only way that MVP comes out, it has to be Draisaitl. That said, it's pretty tough to bet against Crosby or McDavid in this situation. Honorable mention for MVP, Celebrini, you guys. Celebrini, like McDavid had his golden goal, Crosby had his golden goal. McDavid had his overtime 4 Nations goal. I don't know. Something just tells me the hockey gods put Celebrini in a position to score. Michael, what do you think?
Oh, I mean, when I think about Celebrini and McDavid playing on the same line, and I bet you they will.
Chills.
Yeah. Like, we're talking Lemieux, Gretzky type of.
Oh, great comparison. Yeah.
It's going to be next level.
87 Canada Cup.
Yeah. I mean, I always I hope that, because, I'm a huge Crosby fan. I hope that for Crosby and McKinnon, and they are fun to watch. But, like, Lemieux, Gretzky, that was different level. And I think Celebrini and McDavid is just going to be sublime. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else on that before we go to anybody else on Olympic rosters, Celebrini, anything else, chemistry, anything we feel we've missed, anything you feel you've missed, and then we'll go to our final around the horn. Michael, you're leaning in.
Yeah, did anybody mention Skinner won his game tonight?
Oh no, he didn't. Well, maybe that'll save him from
First
getting sent to
game
the
on a
minors.
Penguins. First game in the Penguins roster.
There you go.
So
What? How many
Yeah,
goals did he
good
let
for
in tonight?
when do we trade back for him?
Yeah.
He only let in one. He only let in one.
Well, I guess we all read it because it was in our heavy hockey private chat. But
Was it?
Penguins
Yeah,
Penguins fans are already clamoring for him to be put on waivers. So we don't need to
Oh,
trade
yeah.
for him, Michael. We can just pick him back up, and Scotty Bowman can say, "I love it when a plan comes together," and he gets his Skinner Jari combo, anyways.
That's right.
Hey,
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
final thoughts on Olympics, Michael? Are you good there,
No, I'm good there.
Patrick?
Yeah, I don't really have much else to add. Like you guys were saying, McDavid and Celebrini, that's got to be a pairing on a line there. And I hope Connor Bedard, I know you brought it up there, Michael, with the injury issues, but I think you got to have Connor Bedard on there. I mean, you can always, like Dash, I think you said you can replace him if you need to. You got to pick that guy. You can have him as an option to be on that team. And I hope that second line that I picked, McDavid, Bedard, and Celebrini, gets a chance to play together because I think that could be a hell of a lot of fun to watch. And yeah, like you guys,
Patrick, can I
wait for
say
this to get
one
started.
thing about that? Like,
Sure.
and for everybody, like McDavid, Crosby, McKinnon, Bedard, Celebrini.
Yeah, the
Like
five
five-
biggest generational players, or
Oh.
whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I left him off, but it's the injury. To be fair, I probably should go back and put him back in there somewhere. But that's unreal. It gives me shivers thinking about that. That's a five, like the five skaters of the apocalypse right there. Like, that's unreal.
The Mount Rushmore of generational players. Hey, if
Yeah.
there was five heads.
Oh, could you imagine putting those five guys out for a power play?
Right? Oh my god!
Just pull the goalie, let them score, get it over with.
You just got to do it, just cause. Just why not?
Unreal.
Quaddy obviously tuning in late because he's joining the chat late here, and he's a regular. So you'll have to go back and listen to the beginning. But he is into the chat. If you had Crosby, McDavid, and Celebrini line, it might be the first three generational talent line ever. Assume Celebrini's gonna be that guy. It sure looks like it. Boy, I couldn't agree more. Celebrini might be the third or fourth best player in the NHL right now, and I'm not even sure that's a stretch. Ryan, I think we got one more from you for Around the Horn, and then we'll make our closing statements. And Michael, I will cue you up for last word if that's okay, and I would love you to get into the heavy hockey showdown. Ryan?
Yeah, so I mean, I got a couple things I'll say on the Olympics. In my season preview show on 99 Forever with Eric Friesen, and I was joined by Bob the goalie and Regu Sharma. I said that we'd have Team Germany playing against Team Canada in a semifinal. So I'm not too far away from you on Germany making a little run here, there, Dash. And yeah, so I'm hopefully that little Canada Germany showdown will happen. That'll be fun. But yeah, like I said earlier, these are the rosters that we want, right? I think these will be very different from the roster that actually gets put onto the ice. We don't have a lot of Tampa Bay Lightning players, and we know that Hagel and Sorelli were on that Four Nations team. I believe Friedman said earlier in the season that it's going to be hard for those Four Nations guys to get kicked off of this team. Like, none of us have Seth Jarvis on the team. There's a very real chance he ends up on the team as well in some capacity, right? So I don't know how many differences we're going to actually see between the Four Nations team and this current team, but I have a strange feeling that Hagel and Sorelli are going to be on there, and Braden Point's going to play more of a role than we want. It's not what I want, but it's probably what's going to happen. So, as always, there's going to be a lot of debate on the roster when it actually comes out, and that's what makes all of this so fun, and that's kind of the spirit of this show that we did tonight. And that's what it was all about. So hopefully that was fun for all you guys. It was certainly fun for all of us. And yeah, I think that was pretty much all I was going to say on that.
Okay, I appreciate that. That's a great way to wrap up the Olympic part. Any last words as well for the show, Ryan, or what do you figure before we go?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good set of last words. It's going to be an incredible tournament. Just excited for a best on best Olympic tournament again. And see all the countries involved, well, except Russia, but that's I'm not too upset about that. But yeah, just excited for the Olympics to be back on the map that it's going to get with the NHL players being involved. It's always fantastic hockey and always super exciting. So looking forward to it.
Ryan is far and away our most prolific writer on heavyhockey.com. I encourage everybody to jump on the website at heavyhockey.com. Great editorials by plenty of members of the Heavy Hockey cast. Like I said, Ryan being the most prolific. Where can people find you, Ryan?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Lotsy Ryan, and yeah, on the editorials page at heavyhockey.com. My most recent piece was kind of reacting to the Oilers roster moves on Monday and kind of go through the different cap scenarios because they still got a lot of cap space to shed before Jake Wallman and Kasperi Kapanen get activated, and they got to do something in net before Jari gets activated as well. So with the Mangiapane rumors, that spices things up a little bit. That'd free up a lot of space, give them a little more flexibility. So I went through all the scenarios, so you can check it out on heavyhockey.com.
Awesome. Thanks to all the regulars. I gave Name a shout out earlier. Great to hear from you, buddy. Sarah, Ace, Quaddy. Oh boy, Roxy, Addie. Who else was in there tonight? Thanks everybody for being a contributor. Sorry if I forgot anyone. We really appreciate all of that. I would just like to say thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. That was a fun exercise. I'll go to Patrick for his rendition of running or finalizing or giving a final rundown, if you will. Tell us where you can find us, Patrick, and then hand it over to Michael for the final word.
Will do. Well, thank you to everybody in the chat for, as always, making this very fun show tonight. Want to wish everybody a happy new year, all the best in 2026 here. Same to all my fellow podcasters here. Love doing this show with you guys. It's a honor and a privilege, and looking forward to another big year coming up here in 2026. You can find me on X, Instagram, Blue Sky at Oilers Fanatic YT. And I, of course, have my own Edmonton Oilers channel on YouTube, The Oilers Fanatic. Keep you up to date with game rundowns, the latest news. So, yeah, that's all from me. I'll hand it over to Michael to wrap us up.
Is that new site there, Patrick?
His 20,000 subscribers might say otherwise.
Bastard.
All right, Michael. When you're done, say goodnight.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks everybody for tuning in. It's been great. Good discussion in there, making me laugh a little bit. I love arguments and the discussion. Always great. We didn't talk. We haven't talked about Savoy. At least I haven't been on your pod yet, the Heavy Hockey podcast yet. So I'm sure you've talked about Savoy. It's been in there, been in the chat. Like to talk about him at some later date. And and some of the other Oilers that are kind of playing those roles, right? That outside of the big guys right now. But how great does it feel to have many of the players back from injury? We're just waiting on Wallman. That'll be nice to get him back, get this kind of see what this team is all about. I disagree on the is this team capable of hitting the finals? I think I know you guys didn't say that they're not capable, but you'd said that they're not going to. Maybe Dash doesn't think they're going to, but I think they're I think based on what we saw even in after hours, like McDavid is that's why he's doing what he's doing, and he'll continue to do it, right? Draisaitl's just unreal, right? As we know, as Oilers fans. So yeah, great. Oilers are looking good as of late. If they can only put 3 games in a row, it would be great. I just close to 10K. Eh? Thanks for being a fan. Well, I might have watched 1 or 2 episodes. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I want to talk about the Heavy Hockey Showdown before we go. Heavy Hockey Showdown is for in raising money for SACE, Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. I don't know, 6-7 years we've been doing the Heavy Hockey Showdown, maybe 8 renditions now. Started out as just a little free game that we did at the downtown community arena. Lotsy, I think you were in it. I don't remember, but anyway, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. We got Edmonton Sports Talk involved, so happy to have them on board. Become one of the premier fundraisers for the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. And it's only going to get bigger. I think every year we kind of learn from some of our mistakes. We get really, like, what we're trying to achieve is like a full sort of game day atmosphere for the players. It's just a single game. It's not a tournament. We go out, have a little bit of fun, get out there, play some hockey, and do it for a really great cause. And, the Sexual Assault Center is not getting not even near enough funding. They had to suspend counseling for a period of time this past year. They need the help. And so when you see players on X or YouTube or wherever looking for donations, make a donation. But more importantly, if you can come out and watch and play, if you can, you go to heavyhockey.com. On the top menu bar, there's a link there for the Heavy Hockey Showdown. Just go there and you can find out all the information you need to know. We don't have we have a pre-party on the 13th. The game, by the way, is March 14th. And it's at the downtown community arena. We have a pre-party on the 13th. We're going to watch St. Louis Blues game. We don't know where it's going to be at yet, but when we got that, it'll be on the site. And so just keep going there, heavyhockey.com, maybe read a Lotsy article or 20, whatever he's written that day. And give us some feedback, come out, make some donations, have some fun. We get Hunter the links out. Rob Clark, hopefully we can get out to sing the anthem. Look, I'm floored every year at how great the people are, and the turnout that happens, and how much fun we have. It's fantastic. It's just too bad I'm the only guy in the group that really can skate. Otherwise, I think the hockey would be a little bit better. It's the last word, so I can pretty much say whatever the hell I want right now. Nobody can say anything. And with that, I am going to say, have a great night.